It's 10 a.m. on WKYT Midmorning. A small town is hit with a huge setback after fire ripped right through a shopping center.
Education will be a much talked about topic today in Frankfort as another university president plans to make the case against Governor Bevin's proposed budget cuts.
And details on a special halftime show at tonight's UK game to help out a Lexington firefighter.
This is WKYT Midmorning.
Good morning. It's so nice to have you with us on a pretty nice day. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. Pretty nice day, but man, I think you ain't seen nothing yet, as they say, heading toward the weekend. Isn't that going to be a good one?
Song. That's right. Looks good. It sounds like for tomorrow and Saturday. Meteorologist Micah Harris is on duty. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's going to be a beautiful day. Mixture of sun and clouds. Nothing falling out of the sky today. That's the first time I've been able to say that in a long time, almost 2 weeks. There's your shot. Still some clouds out and about down toward the east and southeast. But you know what? It's going to be one of those days that you get into the afternoon and you're going to be seeing those temperatures there going from the 30s and 40s to all 40s later on today. So that's going to be the case. You can see these temperatures for afternoon high right around 5 degrees. All in all, it's a pretty good day in store. You know what? It gets even warmer. Slide towards your weekend. I'll show you that coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you.
This morning, the weather continues to cause problems for drivers.
Right. In just a few hours, police in Scott County worked at least 7 crashes. They say most drivers lost control on icy bridges or overpasses that can be deceiving. No one was hurt. Fog was also a big problem for a second morning in a row. The good news is, as Micah was saying, that warmer weather is on the way. The focus is on cleanup this morning in Menifee County after a huge fire at the Trademark Shopping Center in Frenchburg.
People were in some of the shops when the fire started last night, but got out safely before the roof collapsed. Crews worked for hours to save as much as possible. This morning, one business that doesn't appear to be damaged is the laundromat. But we're told the Trade Mart is a total loss.
In Estill County, people there are frustrated with a lack of answers and information amid a salmonella outbreak that has sickened dozens of people. The judge executive says the health department is still working to determine the cause of the outbreak. There have been 51 confirmed cases of salmonella since the outbreak was first reported. He thinks that number could exceed 100 eventually once all the test results have been returned. A Cynthiana man is in jail in Lexington at mid-morning. He's accused of injuring a 7-month-old boy. Kentucky State Police questioned Brandon True at UK Hospital, where the child was being treated. Police say True admitted shaking the boy for about 5 seconds. He will be arraigned on a wanton endangerment charge this afternoon.
Police say a masked man who robbed a pizza store at gunpoint could be behind other robberies in central Kentucky. We told you yesterday morning about the armed robbery at Domino's in Georgetown. Police think the same man might have robbed a nearby Dollar General store, and they say he may be behind a robbery in Lexington as well. Well, it's going to be a busy day in Frankfort, where some students are planning to rally against the governor's proposed budget cuts.
Governor Matt Bevin is proposing a 9% cut in state funding for higher education over the next 2 fiscal years. Today, the president of Kentucky State University will be testifying before a House committee about how the cuts could cripple that struggling university. The Kentucky Senate has passed an education reform bill that calls for some changes in elementary, middle, and high schools. The bill would create a new system to review and change Kentucky's academic standards. It would also erase part of statewide testing, change how teachers are evaluated, and give school districts more control. The sweeping education bill, a top priority for Senate Republicans, cleared that chamber on a near party line vote. It now goes to the Democratic-controlled House.
A statewide anti-discrimination law will likely not be voted on in the Kentucky State Legislature this year. The bill would mandate people could not lose their jobs or their housing based on their sexual orientation and gender identity. 8 Kentucky cities already have similar laws in place. The sponsor of the bill, Democratic Representative Mary Lou Marzian of Louisville, says it may be years before the bill even gets a vote on the House floor. Work continues to clean up a mudslide in Rockcastle County. Part of US 25 is still closed this morning near Highway 909. Twice, just as crews were about to open the road, more mud and debris slid down. The State Transportation Department says one lane of US 25 is now open, but you can still expect delays in the area.
Yeah, it's hard to predict what's going to happen with that mud.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
You've got to move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, today the White House formally announced historic plans for President Obama to visit Cuba.
His two-day stop is just a few weeks away. As Don Champion reports, the president will become the first president to visit the island in 88 years.
Not since 1928, when Calvin Coolidge flew to Havana, has a sitting president visited Cuba. Now, nearly 9 decades later, CBS News confirms President Obama will pay an historic visit to the island nation within weeks. The two Republican Cuban Americans running to succeed him quickly offered up criticism.
Is that something, as president, you would ever do?
Not if it's not a free Cuba. And I'll tell you the problem with the Cuban government is it's not just a communist dictatorship, it is an anti-American communist dictatorship.
And I think it's a real mistake. I think the president ought to instead be pushing for a free Cuba.
President Obama's trip has long been expected since he normalized relations with Cuba in 2014. Critics raise concerns that the communist government there still engages in human rights abuses. Just Tuesday, the countries signed an agreement clearing the way for daily U.S. commercial flights to Cuba. Secretary of State John Kerry spoke about the importance of normalizing relations when he helped reopen the American embassy in Havana last summer.
The policies of the past have not led to a democratic transition in Cuba. It would be equally unrealistic to expect normalizing relations to have, in a short term, a transformational impact.
A U.S. economic embargo in Cuba is still in effect. Don Champion, CBS News.
And while President Obama's trip will be a first for a sitting president in decades, former President Jimmy Carter has visited Cuba several times since leaving office.
The debate between Silicon Valley and the government rages on. Apple is refusing to comply with a court order to unlock the iPhone of San Bernardino shooter Syed Farouk. Google's chief executive sided with the tech giant, while others, including one San Bernardino victim, sympathized with the FBI. The government is demanding Apple create software that would disable the iPhone's auto erase feature. Apple says it will appeal the ruling.
Interesting controversy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of very important issues being discussed.
Yeah.
A precedent that could be set. The halftime show at tonight's UK home game is going to be a very special one.
For this reason, a group of Lexington firefighters will be playing a little 5-on-5 to help out one another and one of their own. Matt Logsden was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last month. The 42-year-old is now undergoing treatment in Chicago. Logsden has been with the Lexington Fire Department for 10 years. He has 3 young children, but he has not been working since learning about his cancer. Firefighters hope that tonight's game will raise awareness for what Matt is going through. By the way, Nike made some special jerseys for the firefighters to wear this evening with the hashtag Logsden on the back. A GoFundMe account for Logsden has now reached more than half of its $50,000 goal. So a lot of people really stepping up and feeling this situation, that the family's going through.
And it's a moment for everybody to remember and be aware.
Right. And the big game, the Kentucky Wildcats have a lot of momentum going into tonight's contest with Tennessee.
Revenge might be on their minds. The Cats lost at Tennessee 2 weeks ago after blowing a 21-point lead. Remember that. They will try to avenge that loss tonight, but they'll also be without Alex Poitras, who will miss his 4th straight game as he continues to nurse a knee injury. Tonight's game is 7 o'clock at Rupp Arena. You can watch it on ESPN. And be sure to keep it right here this mid-morning. A family vacation goes terribly wrong when a little boy was left dangling from a ski lift.
Yeah, his positive spin, though, on that very scary situation, it'll uplift you, and it's coming up after weather.
Yeah, his quote that he said is enough to come back and watch this story coming up. Live Sky camera, there's a shot outside. Beautiful day in store, but it gets even better for your weekend. I'll have that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We are above 32 degrees finally in many locations. Couple spots still trying to make it, but you know what? We're going to be in the 40s later on this afternoon. Really good looking day. 31 there in Frankfort. Now all the fog is on out of here. It has withered away. I-75 down south through Laurel County. Not all that bad. We're in the mid 30s in most locations. And you know what? Like I said, we'll finish off there in the low to mid 40s by the afternoon. Much better conditions in store today. But let me tell you this, it doesn't stop there. We get into tomorrow and we're talking very gusty winds, 30, 40 mile per hour gusts. But that's not with anything going on. That's just big strong winds coming in from the south and southwest. That pumps us up right around 60 tomorrow and also 62 on Saturday. These next couple of days you will absolutely love. Today is still on the cool side just a bit. But yeah, 60, 62 degrees, I promise. You'll love this weather. Once we hit Sunday, we'll be at 59 degrees. So yeah, the temperatures will still be up there. But it's only a small chance of rain there in the forecast on Sunday. That's our next best chance, but that is when the wheels start churning once again for this winter pattern. So we're taking a big long break. It's about a 4-day break from the winter pattern, and then it kicks right back into gear. Here's another system where the jet stream dives way far south, and south far enough to actually get one of these low pressure systems developing south of us, making its way through the Appalachian Mountains. And if you have been living here for the past 2 years, you know the big snows that we have had, or even the decent snows, they've come in from the south. Grabs all that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, streams it on in here. Here's another system that's going to be rolling in south of us. Is it going to go far south? Is it going to roll through like this last one? Remains to be seen. Listen, this is 6 to 7 days away. I'm just getting you updated to tell you, don't let your guard down. Don't think that winter is over and spring is finally here. It's not like that. It's just taking a bit of a break. 54 or 45 degrees later on this afternoon. Then we'll be in the 60s all the way through the weekend, or upper 50s, lower 60s, that is. Shower chance comes in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is when that next best chance at a storm comes rolling on through. That's the best chance, okay? I think chance is the key word there. Something to watch out for the next few days. In the next few days, it's going to be easy to watch because we can just sit back, finally relax.
Absolutely, just soak it in and enjoy it.
Yeah,
All right.
it'd be nice to have a little sunshine, warmer weather.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true.
Bring it on.
There you go.
Well, an 11-year-old boy has quite the story to tell from his family vacation.
He really does. Seattle native Tristan Stead was enjoying some time with his family at a ski resort in Canada. He was on a ski lift when he slipped off the seat and was left there dangling. It's caught on cell phone video there, as you see. The boy was hanging by his arms for about 6 or 7 minutes, nearly 30 feet above ground.
My uncle and aunt were hanging on to me, and I was trying to grab something, but it was too far. I didn't look down, but I don't know.
Eventually, he had to let go. Lift operators caught him. Tristan says he will get on a ski lift again, by the way. He gave this vacation a 9 out of 10, and he says he deducted 1 point for having to hang there so long.
No kidding. I would be deducting more than 1 point.
Other than that, it was a great time.
And he can immediately say, I'll do it again.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really, that's
Get back on the horse.
Youthful spirit there. Well, Olympic icon Jesse Owens gets his own biopic, and the stars come out to support Disney's latest animated film.
Marley Hall has your eye on entertainment.
Jason Bateman and Jennifer Goodwin walk the red carpet in Hollywood for their new animated Disney movie, Zootopia. It's a place where animals from all across the food chain work and live together. Goodwin plays a rabbit who teams up with Bateman's sly fox to solve a mystery.
My character believes anyone can be anything. Jason Bateman's character, Nick, believes you are what you are. And those two ideas have to duke each other out.
The movie also features pop star Shakira as a gazelle. Zootopia opens March 4th. Race, a new film about Olympic hero Jesse Owens, held its New York premiere last night.
You want to win a gold medal?
Stephan James stars as the African-American track and field star. Owens won 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, challenging Hitler's claims of a master Aryan race.
What really intrigued me about him was the man he was, the father he was, the humanitarian he was, and those are the things that people don't know about Jesse.
Saturday Night Live alum Jason Sudeikis plays Owens' track coach. Race opens tomorrow. And the U.S. Surgeon General joins the stars of Mom for a special public service announcement following tonight's episode. The CBS sitcom is about 2 recovering addicts. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
All right, well, coming up, 11 teenagers are killed in accidents from distracted driving each day.
Details on a new app and how it can cut down on distractions while behind the wheel. Next on News First.
And Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $104 million. Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is $212 million. Coming right back on WKYT. Welcome back. Great to have you with us here on WKYT. Are you worried about your teenager texting while driving, or maybe you're guilty of it yourself? A new app is helping to stop the distracting situation and save lives.
We are joined now by James Howell with Lifesaver app, along with Natalie Collins, a student at West Jessamine High, who's now using this new technology. Welcome. Fascinating.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
So really, the way this works, James, is that if you're moving, you can't text, right?
That's correct. It blocks the screen, so you can't text or you can't make a phone call. Because the screen is blocked, you can't get to it.
So it's simply an app that you download?
You download it on your phone, and then when your car goes in motion, it blocks the screen. And you can program it to be blocked whatever period of time you want, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 90 seconds. And we developed this for the parents to put on their children's phone when they started driving. We're all concerned about texting and driving. And I just heard on the way over here, interestingly, that the deaths last year were up 8% from accident, with a lot of it being caused by distracted driving. 8%, a record high last year of deaths.
Well, and I think everybody can understand how quickly that happens with the distractions and all. Natalie, how did you come upon this? Why did you start using this?
Actually, my dad's been worried about it for a while now because I've been driving for about 8 months. And he's a good friend of Mr. Howell's. And he told me that he had a friend that had an app and that I should download it.
So what did you think when you started using it?
I thought that sometimes it got a little confusing, but it was really easy once I figured it out. And I think that it will save a lot of people because I don't want to lose anybody I'm close to.
And you know your peers are going to high school, and you all have grown up with texting and so forth, and it is very tempting, right, when you're on the move?
It's tempting, but that app really helps because it just locks you out of your phone, and you can set an amount of seconds for it to actually unlock. So.
Jim, how did you get involved in this? What was your interest in this kind of an app?
Well, obviously the deaths continue to go up, and my specialty in life is new products that save time, money, and lives. That's what I do for a living. I've got other things as well as this that save lives, time, and money. But this was especially interesting, very appropriate for this times. With the increase in deaths and the increase in the use of phones. I see children or kids walking down the street. They can't walk down the street without texting.
And there's no charge for this, right?
No charge. The fellow, we don't know what's our life worth, but the fellows who developed this decided to give it away for free, absolutely no charge whatsoever. And their purpose is to save lives.
All right, the Lifesaver app.
And we would like to have asked that the educators, the governments, the churches, we can't do this by ourselves. Obviously, and I appreciate you all having us on today, but we've got to stop the people from killing themselves.
Get the word out. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Very intriguing.
Appreciate it.
Well, keep it right here this mid-morning.
Back in a moment, we'll check in with a Mr. Food Test Kitchen next and see what's cooking up here as we get headed toward the weekend now.
We're glad you're with us today. Not all chili is created equal, and this recipe is one that proves it.
It really does. Today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, it is Southwest sausage chili.
Over the years here at the Test Kitchen, we've made lots of different types of chilies. We've made Texas style without any beans. We've made lighter versions using ground turkey and lots of veggies, and on and on. But today's recipe is a little different, and one that everyone who tried it loved. We start by browning some Italian sausage and a minced onion in a large pot. I'm using mild sausage, but if you want it a bit spicier, you can always use a hotter variety. After no pink remains and we've poured off any of the pan drippings, we stir in a couple cans of kidney beans that we've rinsed and drained, a can of corn, tomato sauce, some salsa, a bit of water, and the typical chili seasonings. We give this a quick stir and let it simmer until everything's heated through and all the flavors blend together. That's it. It's the seasonings in the sausage that makes this chili stand out from the crowd. And the fact that you can have a hot and hearty meal on the table in less than 30 minutes makes this even better. The super fast recipe for our Southwest sausage chili is online now to help you chase away those winter blues. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we're looking for an easier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Good news is we don't need anything hot like that the next few days. I know
Maybe next week.
Well, next week, yeah.
You could have it in reserve.
You can do that. Well,
but not for this weekend.
It's winter,
Meal prep on Sunday, right?
There you
Right.
go. Yeah. 45 degrees this afternoon. We're in the 60s, 50s and 60s. The next few days after that, Friday and Saturday will be your best looking days and best feeling days. We're talking about 60 degrees, guys. It's been 14 days since we felt temperatures anywhere close to that. Sunday off into Monday, the pattern changes back. And here we go off toward Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. On that forecast, Tuesday, Wednesday, chilly days.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Those would work.
That's enough. Just leave it at that. Exactly. Thank you so much for being with us here on Mid-Morning. And, of course, we'll have all the news for you here at noon.
We hope to see you back here then. Make it a great day.